Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. I kind of got to change up the review a little bit today because the way that these episodes have been going is not good. These episodes really haven't been good so far, and it hasn't been good in a really long time. And I don't know why it's taking me so long to kind of figure out why. Part of the reason why I feel like it hasn't been good so far, and I was thinking about this this morning, is because they don't really have a good villain anymore. I mean, hell, I didn't even like Nell, but she made stuff happen, you know? She caused drama, she caused trouble, she caused the characters to, do stuff and be adventurous and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like, she caused a bit of trouble. Then you had Cyrus. Cyrus is another great villain. And I feel like the sad thing is that the way that Cyrus and, his run ended was very amateur. For a guy who's supposed to be a boss of bosses, somebody who can go toe-to-toe with Sonny. I mean, this guy is literally, taking Portia hostage. He's surrounded by the cops in Portia's house. This is a boss of bosses. He shouldn't even be at a gunfight. And I really feel like Sonny was supposed to be the person to take him out, but Maurice had other plans, and it ended the way it ended. The point is, you don't really have a good villain. So everyone's just kind of just floundering around. I've been watching, the last couple episodes, and even today's episode, you take a look at Sean and Sam scenes. What did we learn from that? What moved their storyline? The only thing they really gave us was a couple of backstories that I didn't know about, as far as Sean being the one that was going to take out Drew, because Sam pressed that, you were going to sit there and shoot Drew. I was like, well, you did some stuff in the day, too. Don't sit there and act like he was the only one, but, they talked about that, and it really just came to a point of them having a nearly dead end. Hayden's mother wasn't responding. Sam was sitting there saying Nicholas and Liz didn't really know anything. So the only thing that they're going to really do is go to some park or field or docks or something like that to try to look at the evidence or look at the area, which is 6 years old, as from what Sean was sitting there saying. So he kind of feels like it's a dead end too. But at this point, Sam is like, this is all we really have. Plus, Sam, asks the question yo, don't you want to kind of just get on with your life? I get you want to get justice for Hayden, but she's alive, she has a daughter, she's doing fine, since you got out of jail for a crime that you didn't commit, just kind of, live life a little bit. By living life, I'm pretty sure most people are sitting there thinking Sean should sit there and get with Jordan or Sam. But that's not going to happen because, the whole Sam and Dante thing, but whatever. Point is, the scenes didn't really go anywhere. It didn't advance their storyline too much, so it was kind of just there as filler. Now, one of the scenes, I found one of these scenes just to be are you kidding me? This is the Michael and Willow scene. And they're wrapping presents, and, they're looking at each other, and they're giving each other these glares. And I gotta put this down for a minute. Willow says something that I'm just I'm sorry, what? Willow is well, in a year, he'll be walking. Next year, he'll be walking. And then we can be together. Or a year or next year or something like that. And I was I'm sorry, did you just say in a year? You want this man to wait for... I had to rewind it 4 times because I want to make sure Because I heard what I thought I heard. And this woman literally said, in a year, he'll be walking. And he just went along with it. He just went along with it. Michael's a very interesting character. Because in a lot of ways I can see Carly and Sonny in him. The best of their, both of their qualities. But in scenes like this, I see none of that. I see a guy that's just snipped it, be like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll wait for a whole year for you. I'll wait forever. It's not like, I got anything to do or things that I want to do. No, it's cool. I'll just wait. See, I really don't want to. I don't want to call that simping behavior, but I don't know what else to call that. So, they're wrapping presents and, they're talking about that 1 year, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? At some point, they start kissing, and then they stop, and then they start kissing again, and then, then they get interrupted by Carly and Jason, and they walk in, and automatically, Carly's like, so, what was you two doing? At some point, they all split up. Jason goes with Michael to deliver some presents, and Carly's like, listen, I know I walked in on something that was very intense. Like, I can just smell the sex in the air. So, listen, in not so many words, Carly pretty much was telling Willow to just be honest, because she doesn't have a good poker face. She really can't lie, and even with the best of intentions, she's going to wind up hurting someone. I'm just like... And Willow's like, I'm only staying with Chase until he's able to walk again. I'm like, do you understand? I'm like, does she not understand how much like men and their pride are? To find out that this woman was just with me just until I was able to start moving my legs. Like, you didn't even like me. You didn't even want to be with me. I was just a burden to you. And you were only with me until I was able to walk again. But now I'm able to walk them on, and you're just like, hey, cool. Listen, I've been lying to you for like a good 6 months to a year. I was just waiting for you to walk. But now you're on your own, and, you don't have to be my burden anymore. That's literally how a lot of men would sit there and look at that. And it's just the fact that she keeps saying that. She keeps trying to justify lying. Because that's literally what she's doing. She's just lying. And granted, they're both lying, so they're both equally bad. And I just, after a while, their intentions, and I just don't care anymore. I just don't care. I haven't cared for a while. I haven't cared. I can't even remember when, because it's been so long. But the minute he started feeling better, I was like, listen, I get he can't walk, but damn, y'all gotta do something, because y'all not good at this whole secrecy crap. And of course Jason says, of course Michael says the same thing to Jason. And Jason kind of gives his, like, non-answer, really. He's just like, oh, well, I trust your opinion, I trust your judgment. You'll do the right thing. Jason, you're my favorite character, but you didn't really tell him anything. You just basically was like, I'm going to find a way to cop out of really giving him advice, because if it blows up in his face, then I'll have to feel guilty for it. That's literally what I felt like he did. It's like, oh no, you'll do the right thing. I have faith in you. Yep. That really seemed like that was some great advice. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate that. Now another interesting scene. Another interesting scene was in the living room. Apparently they have multiple living rooms, which is kind of odd, but whatever. This was when Chase was sitting there talking to Austin. And, Austin was sitting there saying that he was unconscious. But he heard two women talking to each other. Now Chase was like, you know, maybe that was just Maxie and the other woman arguing with each other. You got Brooklyn just sweating bullets. I mean, the whole time, the minute Austin got there, she was all like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's an interloper, and this, that, and the third. And, you know, she kept trying to get Valentine to be like, hey, listen, you know, you might want to stay away from him. We don't know, like, who he is or his backstory. I get you want him to back you, but we don't know much about this guy. Pretty much what she's trying to do is cover her own ass, and I just find it kind of hilarious. On a positive side, I was reading that Kristen Storm is back on set after brain surgery. So, that's awesome. I'm really happy to hear about that, though. So hopefully, I mean, one, I'm happy to hear about that just because she's healthy and safe, no matter if she's on the show or not. And two, yeah, we kind of start to wrap up this broken storyline. But yeah, so I thought that part was interesting. What else we got? Chase is towards the end of the episode, Chase is in the other room. Chase is in the other room, and, you know, he's trying to push himself to stand, and he starts to slowly walk. You got Austin just kind of like, you know, peeking at the corner like a creep or whatever. Now, what I'm really interested about is when they was talking about, because Willow has a lot on her plate today, in this episode. Between the anniversary of her son's passing, the whole thing with Michael and Chase, I mean, I don't even understand how she even managed to get out of bed this morning. You know, the way everything is just hitting her. But they're talking about, you know, the passing of her son. Now there's another scene when it seems like somebody's like dropping flowers off to, you know, on a gravesite of, oh, I can't remember, of Willow's child. And I'm wondering who that is, because towards the end of the episode, you know, when she answered the door, she's like, oh, it's you or something like that. Now, I know there's going to be some people that's going to sit there and say, oh, well, it's Nell, she's back, she didn't really die. Because there's apparently this GH fan YouTube channel that just throws all sorts of wild theories. The problem with this channel is that they try to present it as facts. You know, they're like, oh, Morgan and Nell are, you know, they helped each other out and they're going to be coming back soon. And it's just like, what? Anyway, I know a lot of people sitting there thinking that it was Nell. And you know what? To be honest, listen, here's the thing. I did not like Nell at all. I didn't think that she was a good villain at all. Especially compared to some of the villains that they had on that show. This was just bad. Like, for me, I like a villain that I can kind of get behind a little bit, you know? Somebody that you know is kind of crazy, but, you know, they may have good reasons why they're doing it. You may not agree with their style, but you understand why they're doing what they're doing. Nell wasn't one of them. But, you know, at this point, I would even take Nell back. And I really can't stand her. The point is, this show needs, like, a good villain or somebody to shake things up. Because the last couple episodes have been, just boring. Just really boring. Hell, even the scene with Carly and Jason Smith, they're talking about their marriage, and, you know, Carly's being kind of nervous about doing stuff in public because, you know, they're a couple now. She's worried about perception, and if it's too soon or not. And I'm just like, I just do not care. I really don't care. I don't care. I find this whole thing to be stupid. I understand why they're doing it, but I'm just... Listen, I've never been into the whole coupling thing in the first place, but this just feels wrong. And I know it's forced because, well, you know, the situation, but I'm just like, I can't. I just don't care. Now, last scene, I think, the whole Spencer and Ava scene, because this is something else that I'm finding it very hard to care. I mean, I care about it a little bit because at least, like, as stupid as Spencer's motives is for, you know, causing all this mayhem between Ava and Nicholas and, you know, all the stuff that he was doing. All the stuff he was doing. I just felt like it was just stupid. But at the same time, it was something. You know, he found ways to shake things up a little bit. Like his motives for why he doesn't like Ava and his whole, you know, throughout this whole scene, him trying to manipulate her by first saying, oh, we gotta sit there and do a truce. And then he's like, oh, well, what is it? He's like, oh, well, I want you to sit there and do this for my father's sake because I want my father getting caught by this, you know, by this stalker, and I just got my father back. You know, all this BS manipulation crap. I'm just like, bro, you just, like, really? And of course, I've talked ad nauseum about the reasons why I think that his whole plan thing is stupid. And no, there's actually one more scene. I've talked at length about why I think his whole reasoning for this is stupid. But the sad part is that it's somewhat interesting. Like, it's stupid. His whole motives are stupid. Because he really should be going after Valentine. Not going after Ava and her child. Like, that's just weak. In my opinion. That's just really weak. But at least he's doing something. You know what I'm saying? At least there's something that's going on. And, that was pretty much about it. I mean, for the most part, he just found the way to get Ava away from Nicholas by just saying, well, you're doing this for his protection. I'm like, you are just such a beep, 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 beep. I'm just gonna sit there and put it that way. Now this whole Nicholas and Liz part is just jarring because she gets Nicholas to come over. And then she's like, you told me that you shot Hayden, you know? And Nicholas was like, well, I lied. What? Dude, you literally just confessed to her and you said that you did it to protect her. You said you did it to protect her. Because of the whole, you know, Drew and, you know, whole blackmailing thing that Hayden was sitting there doing, and he was like, oh, I did it to protect you. But then he was like, no, I lied. I only said I did that because I wanted you to see how far I was going to go because, you know, I want to really express my love to you. Alright, bro, let me just see if I can wrap my brain around this. And this is Liz that we're talking about. You know, goody two-shoes Liz. You felt this would impress her by shooting another woman to protect Liz's secret. You were gonna kill a woman to protect Liz's secret, and you just what? You just thought that was gonna impress her so much that she was just gonna fall head over heels for you? How does that even make any sense? Nothing about that makes sense. And the sad thing is that came out of his mouth, but now Liz is like, so are you telling the truth or are you lying? Because now I don't know which one to sit there and believe. So they talk about it a little bit more, and then Nicholas kind of seems to get Liz to drop it and be like, hey, listen, let's just go in the past. It is what it is. It happened a long time ago. Just let it rest, let it bury, whatever. And he leaves, and it looks like Liz is going to drop it, but then when Liz closes the door, Liz just have that look in her face like, I don't know. Still think that you did it. I do kind of love how they try to recreate the scenes and stuff like that, and I'm just like, this. I mean, the sad thing is that she doesn't have anything to, like, she doesn't have any concrete evidence. She just has his words and they're saying that, yeah, I did it to protect you. And then he's like, no, I only said that because I want to impress you, pretty much. So I can understand why Liz is kind of like, I don't really know which way to go, but I just watched that and I'm just like, bro, none of that made any sense. And that was, if that was his attempt at a lie, this was a terrible lie. Because, I mean, I've been watching this show since 2001. And Liz has done some stuff before. She's definitely crossed some lines. And it's always kind of funny that she crosses lines, but yet she sits there and always try to judge other people. But, you know, up until now, you know, with this whole covering Peter's death or whatever, I'm just like, you know, you don't really seem like, maybe because it's like the presence or the persona that she puts on, this Saint Elizabeth kind of thing, you know? But it's so jarring. It's so jarring. Well, I think that's about it. Like always, I always feel like I missed something. I don't know what I missed, but I'm pretty sure I missed something. I think just because I kind of glossed it over the whole Sean and Sam scene, because it was like, all right, you're talking, nothing's happening, you're kind of just here to just be here, whatever. Nothing that you're doing is advancing the storyline whatsoever, except for towards the end, you talked about how you're going to go to some place that's been like 6 years old, but you're going to try to find some sort of clues or whatever. I don't know where this is going, but this show needs to go somewhere, because for the past couple of episodes, I've been feeling, you know, every once in a while, sometimes I'll feel like, yo, did I even do like a good job on this review? And I remember yesterday I had to sit there and want to do the review twice, because I was like, I'm trying to explain this storyline, or I'm trying to explain this, you know, some of these scenes, and these scenes are just so either boring or just don't care. Like, I feel like, and granted, this is the one thing I feel like it does need is a good villain. You know, it needs somebody to sit there and shake some stuff up. Spencer is doing something. I mean, I think it's kind of cowardly. A lot of the stuff is just like, bro, are you kidding me? But at least he's doing something, and I think that's what this show needs. They need a good villain. They need, like, the next... I don't want to sit there and say Cyrus, but, I mean, they do have, well... I know Jason and Carly is not there dealing with the Novaks, and maybe they'll start to deal with that a little bit more. Like, they need something, some sort of, like, danger or suspense or something, because I know this is a soap opera, and it kind of goes day by day or whatever, and, like, sometimes you don't really get that much, and sometimes it inches up a little bit, but it's like, if I'm going to sit there and dedicate my hour of time to sit there and watch this show, then I feel like it needs to give me something where it's like, okay, this is great. And not just, yep, okay, alright, well, we're still doing this. I guess we're doing the Sunny and Nina stuff, because, you know, that's the thing still. Oh, I can even sit there and say I enjoy when they got the whole Elijah thing into it, because some stuff was happening, you know? But when they just do episodes like this, it's like, granted some stuff happened, but it was like, for the most part, it's like, you need more than a couple of characters to be carrying this show. And they have some really good characters, but when you don't give them stuff to do that's kind of, that's going to be interesting or whatever, we're kind of just sitting there watching something for an hour, and it's like, I remember I was sitting there watching something for like, I think it was like 17 minutes into the episode. I'm like, my goodness, this feels like an hour already. I'm like, I'm looking at the time, like, it's been 17 minutes. Are you kidding me? That's how I feel for the past couple of episodes. And that's why I've been sitting there saying, I was like, man, you know, I really miss Days. I do. And JH is my show. But you got episodes like this, it's like, I wonder what's going on in Y&R. I mean, I know I don't want to touch CBS because whatever, but what's going on in Y&R? Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. I hope everyone has a great, safe weekend. Let me know what your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. I'm actually gonna sit there and finish watching the rest of the season of Lucifer because that show is amazing. If you haven't watched it, definitely give it a try. Unless you're like super religious, then like just don't. just don't. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. Thank you for watching. Be safe. I will see you in the next video.